Hi everyone, welcome to the Screen Crowd, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 best movies of the 1980s. For this list, we'll be going over the greatest films released from 1980 to 1989.
Behold, Simi, life, real life, a thing that we have been denied for far too long. Good morning, my neighbors!
If there's an 80s film where we totally spazzed for leaving off the list, don't freak out. Tell us about your favorites in the comments. Let's get started. Number 10. Ghostbusters, 1984. Who you gonna call? This groundbreaking supernatural comedy from 1984 starring SNL alums Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, along with Harold Ramis and Ernie Hudson, became one of the biggest hits of the decade. In it, a group of down-on-their-luck paranormal investigators launched their own ghost hunting business in New York City. Eccentric, contagious, and jam-packed with fantastic effects, Ghostbusters also gave rise to a variety of incredibly valuable memorabilia, cartoons, a sequel, and a recent film that continues that franchise in 2022.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move.
Number 9. Aliens, 1986. James Cameron's Aliens, which was released 7 years after the heart-stopping original, depicts the colonization of the planet LV-426 by the acid-veined, bloodthirsty aliens. We explore every corner of the alien world while being on edge thanks to Ellen Ripley, a Nostromo survivor, helping a gang of fighters with a whole lot of firepower.
They cut the power.
How could they cut the power, man? They're animals. There's movement all over the place. 5 meters, man. 4.
For fans of gory science fiction, this film is a must-see because of its cutting-edge visual effects, compelling characters, and horrifying extraterrestrial creatures. Number 8. Coming to America, 1988. Instead of letting his parents pick his bride, Crown Prince Akeem of Zamunda chooses to hunt for love in Queens, New York. He gives up his extravagant lifestyle in search of a partner who accepts him for who he is. Akeem's search for love in America is filled with non-stop humor, bizarre personalities, and a lot of heart.
Apparently these are the best women Queens has to offer. Pick one and let's go home.
Additionally, this comedy deftly presents a diverse range of black characters so that everyone can find a common bond. The humor and unforgettable character performances by Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall are still funny over 30 years later. This royal comedy is certain to make people laugh for many years to come, in our opinion.
America is great indeed. Imagine a country so free, one can throw glass on the streets.
You must be out of your goddamn mind. You crazy?
Listen, real Americans.
Number 7. Die Hard, 1988. 40 stories of sheer adventure. That was the tagline for what is still one of the best action films of all time, starring Bruce Willis and the menacing Alan Rickman. When New York police officer John McClane visits his family during the holidays, he unintentionally enters the web of a gang of criminals led by Hans Gruber, played by Rickman.
Who are you then? You have most troublesome for a security guard.
Sorry, wrong guess, huh? Would you like to go for double jeopardy?
By eluding their clutches and slithering around the structure, McClane kills them one by one, prompting a plethora of sequels and imitators for years to come. Watch out for the last step, John. Number 6. The Terminator, 1984. I'll be back. James Cameron's 1984 action classic, starring a then largely unknown Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton, pushed the boundaries of how intense and exhilarating a film could be. The future human resistance is put at risk when a murderous cyborg is brought back in time to kill Sarah Connor. This causes extreme violence, time travel, and gory scenes of, well, bloodiness. Anyone will feel uneasy due to Schwarzenegger's reputation as a menacing killer machine who never stops attacking and causing havoc. Number 5. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, 1982. Steven Spielberg's E.T. is the tale of an adolescent boy who befriends an extraterrestrial that he finds in his family's garden shed. It has timeless themes like friendship, discovery, and letting go. We witness as Elliot and the alien learn new skills from one another before becoming great friends, despite the fact that their communication styles are polar opposite.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We are left with a warm feeling in our hearts and tears in our eyes as Elliot fights against the obstacles to return E.T. to his home planet. Number 4. Raging Bull, 1980. This film examines the life of boxer Jake LaMotta, which also examines the negative impact an aggressive attitude may have on an Italian-American family. It also includes arguably the best boxing sequences ever put on film. With Oscar-winning Robert De Niro in the starring role and Martin Scorsese's masterful direction, Raging Bull takes us inside the world of mafia-manipulated boxing matches, marital abuse, sibling rivalry, and the daily struggle of pursuing the American dream in mid-century New York. Number 3. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. When it comes to huge adventure films, this is the one that made Indiana Jones famous. It's not just chaotic action scenes, avoiding booby traps, and melting faces that await us as we follow Indy in a race against the Nazis to find the sacred Ark of the Covenant. We also encounter dry humor and three-dimensional personalities.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
The partnership between Spielberg and Harrison Ford set high standards for a beloved franchise audiences still enjoy more than 40 years later. Number 2. Do the Right Thing, 1989. Writer-director Spike Lee aimed to create a film that would ignite our passions and shake things up. Lee gives us an unflinching look at racism on the streets of Brooklyn, New York, with this explosive and thought-provoking masterpiece. Sal, an Italian-American who also happens to be the father of one bigoted son and one who isn't, employs Mookie as a pizza delivery guy. Lee's comedy drama, which received 2 Oscar nominations, still captivates audiences today by providing all sides of the tale and a realistic yet compelling look at discrimination.
Hey, you old drunk! What did I tell you about drinking in front of my stoop? Move on, you're blocking my view. You are ugly enough. Don't stare at me. The evil eye doesn't work on me.
Before we reveal the number 1 pick, here are some of the films that just missed making our top 10. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, 1980.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
Predator, 1987.
Bad idea.
Dirty Dancing, 1987.
Head up. Lock your frame. Lock it. Lock. Look, spaghetti arms. This is my dance space. This is your dance space. I don't go into yours, you don't go into mine. You gotta hold the frame.
Field of Dreams, 1989.
You know, my father said he saw him years later playing under a made-up name in some 10th-rate league in Carolina. Said he put on 50 pounds and the spring was gone from his step, but he could still hit. Dad used to say nobody could hit like Shooter.
Number 1. Back to the Future, 1985. We're going back in time with skateboards, DeLoreans, and Nike sneakers. Oh, but there's a lot more. The first of Robert Zemeckis' 3 Back to the Future films follows Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, as he uses his crackpot buddy Doc Brown's recently created time machine to travel back to 1955, the year his parents first met. However, when Marty becomes caught up in a love triangle with his parents, his existence is placed in jeopardy. strange parental scenarios, a bully beating, and some Johnny B. Good rock guitar are all standouts in the comedy classic that continues to captivate. Let us know what you thought of our list. And for more top 10 lists, subscribe to the Screen Crowd. See you next time.